Have you ever stopped to think about your body's circulatory system? I mean, really think about it? Well, today we're going to look at it in a whole new way, like a massive superhighway. And we're going to tell a story about two natural helpers that you might just find in your kitchen, working to keep that highway running smooth. So let's start with a kind of weird question. What on earth do blueberries and grapes have to do with your body's internal plumbing? It sounds a little random, I know, but trust me, the answer is way more interesting than you think. Stick around. First things first, let's just make sure we're all on the same page. When we talk about erectile function, what are we really talking about? Well, at its core, it's all about plumbing and signals. You need healthy, flexible blood vessels and good circulation to get blood flowing where it needs to go, when it needs to get there. Simple as that. To make this all super easy to understand, we're going to use an analogy for the rest of this explainer. Just picture your entire network of blood vessels as a giant, sprawling highway system. And just like any highway, for things to work right, you need one thing above all else: clear lanes and smooth traffic flow. But, just like any real highway, this system can run into some serious problems. We're talking major traffic jams. Sometimes you just don't have enough green light signals, that's a molecule called nitric oxide, to tell the traffic to get a move on. Other times you get this kind of cellular rust building up on the guardrails. Scientists call that oxidative stress. And, of course, there's just general wear and tear on the road itself, which we know is inflammation. Any of these can grind traffic to a halt. So, with all these things that can go wrong, the system definitely needs some help, right? It needs a maintenance team. But what if a part of that road crew could be found in the foods we already eat? Okay, let's meet our first hero. Meet anthocyanins. Now, these are the natural compounds that give foods like blueberries and cherries those really deep, rich red, purple, and blue colors. And in our story today, their job is to be the protectors of our highway. So what exactly are the protectors' superpowers? Well, for starters, they directly boost that green light signal, nitric oxide, which helps get traffic moving again. They're also antioxidants, which means they're the cleanup crew for all that cellular rust. Plus, their anti-inflammatory powers help soothe the road surface. And finally, they support what scientists call endothelial function, which, in our analogy, is basically the health of the pavement itself, keeping it smooth and ready for action. Every great hero needs a partner, right? So, let's meet our second hero, resveratrol. You've probably heard of this one. It's famously found in the skin of grapes. But its role is a little different. It's not just protecting the road, it's the activator. See, the activator plays a more behind-the-scenes role. Instead of just boosting the green light signal, it actually helps the factory that produces the signal. So it supercharges production from the source. It also acts like a foreman, calling in a special backup crew, a protein called SIRT1, to help with major repairs. And just like its partner, it's a heck of an antioxidant, protecting the whole system from that pesky rust. So when you look at them side by side, you can really see how they make the perfect team. You've got the protectors on the front lines directly boosting that green light signal and cleaning up messes. And at the exact same time, you've got the activator working behind the scenes, building up the factories and calling in reinforcements. It's really a fantastic 1-2 punch for keeping the whole highway system clear and healthy. Okay, I'm going to hit pause on our story for a second because this next part is extremely important. The source material for this explainer makes a point to include a very clear disclaimer, which you see right here. It says that neither of these compounds we've talked about are FDA-approved treatments for erectile dysfunction. So let's be crystal clear about this. What we've discussed today is a way to understand the potential biology, the mechanisms for how some of these compounds might support the health of our blood vessels. This is not a magic fix. It's just a cool way to understand how the body works. And because of that, the single most important takeaway from all of this is pretty simple. Always, and I mean always, talk to a doctor or another healthcare professional before you even think about adding a new supplement to your routine. They're the only ones who can give you advice that's right for you and your health. Our bodies are just these unbelievably complex, amazing systems. And understanding how all the different pieces fit together, from our own internal highways to the food we eat, it's a pretty incredible journey. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other natural secrets for our health are just out there, waiting for us to figure them out? Thanks so much for joining me.